Welcome one and all to this 27th episode of D&D with me, Mike.
And me, Zoe.
And today we are going to be working on making the levels smaller. I've looked into various other solutions. All of them are quite complex. I don't think I'm going to go down that route as long as I'm working with Zoe here. So, and I would need to study in that area myself. So what we're going to do is we're simply going to accept that we need to make smaller maps. Now, before, I think the map that we had was 64 by 64, and we don't really need a square. In fact, I think both our x and our y are independent of one another, so it shouldn't be a problem for us to actually keep them separated. So we should probably go with some kind of like Zelda-like structure. And we're going to have various different levels. Now, let's take a look at our little island over here. So the first step will be deciding a certain amount of room that we're going to allow ourselves.
You should narrow down the...
What?
I think you should narrow down the brush to 1.
Yeah, sure. Needs to be 1, and then it's just a matter of seeing how many we've got. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3. There should be an easy way to check. I'm not sure. Does this allow me to see how many? Yes, the rectangle says there 31.
Yeah.
So 48 by 32. Yeah, that's not 16/9 though, which is most of the screens, but this could be a decent ratio we could go with. So let's go here, go image, crop to selection. Okay, so we can, I don't know where I drew that. Here, I think. Okay, so now this would be our new map. So hold Control and Shift and press E. And we're gonna go, oh wait, do we have, no, yeah, we're still displaying entity info. Do it again. Control Shift E. And it's gonna be here in its map. And then Control Shift E. Entity map. And then Control Shift E, entity info map. Okay, so now if we press play, this thing should fire up way faster.
Uh-oh.
Except it's missing some information. We got null reference. Okay, let's go take a look at this. No idea where the null reference is coming from, but we'll find out soon. Map tiles child entity is not null. Okay. So it goes through all of the map tiles, but then it stops. Yeah, all of these are.
Well, it's only one kind of map tile that wasn't there.
Yeah, there's a hit Control F real quick and type daddy. Yeah. And let's see if I've done anything. No. Okay. Because I know I did some research on things. Okay, this is strange. So let's see here. Here we do a loop for all of the parts of the map. It was interesting to see that the map didn't actually populate fully. That was... Oh! No. Oh, I don't know actually. So we've got the dirt, the water. What are we missing? So
well, we don't have walls. We had walls around the bridges.
Yeah, but there should be dirt out there too, I think. So somehow...
Yeah.
This is a bit strange. So the sea... This is very confusing. So it stopped eventually doing the thing. Null reference. I don't understand. This seems very odd. Map tiles, child entity. Wait, and it's complaining about a null reference. It might be x and y, I'm not sure. Width and height don't seems correct. But it has skipped some. And I don't know that I understand why. It's like we got maybe, so which parts are appearing? There's gotta be a reason. Okay, so let's stop this here.
And check the
So
game.
the water seems happy.
Yeah, the
It's-
water is where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Ladders are not here.
What about the grass? Not all of it. So how does the loop function? Goes from x to y, and then if the colors contains colors index. Index y time entity texture with x. Okay. It could be that it's a different color, but what I don't get is that, so it's doing the x, then the y, right? Which means it will be doing this. Like this, in rows.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden it gets here, but it skips stuff. Have we exported the picture wrong? Like with extra bits? Not this one, banana. This one. I don't see anything wrong with it, unless we lost some color. So let's see here. It's selecting them all. So first of all, let's just sort of grab this color over here and hit Control A for me. Paint it inside. Then you put the grass. Then you put the walls. Okay. Hit Control E, Control Shift E rather. And let's go to the map again. Okay. I haven't got a clue why this is happening. Seems very strange. Yeah, so we got this problem. The stuff isn't being spawned at all. We're missing pieces. But it allows it to continue all the way to this. I don't get it, frankly. So here, type debug.log. Open round. Copy this. Paste it here. Close the round. Semicolon. Save.
Don't save because the thing is still running.
Save. Oh. I've paused it, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Now let's see if we're getting weird colors that we're not supposed to get. Okay, so we've got pure blue.
That's all the same.
No, you see, there's problems. So there are approximations for the colors. Something's wrong with the colors. Point, no filter, no compression. Should work. But it does look pretty blurry here. Yeah, we can't even zoom in. It looks blurry to me.
Also, I don't see the walls there.
But you can clearly see here errors, right? So
Yeah.
here you've got another number. I don't understand. Because it looks like the picture is correctly. Non-power of 2, none. That's it. So because it's not a power of 2, well, I mean they are, no, 48 isn't. 48 is not a power of 2. And therefore we have that problem. So here you see it says n, oh it doesn't actually, I'm surprised. It should say n pot somewhere, which means non-power of 2. If you have a picture that's a non-power of 2,
This one has it.
yeah, now it's n pot, and now it should be fine. Now I'll keep it. Whereas it was approximating. There we go. Now we're fine.
Yeah.
So we got a few problems here. That we're not spawning on the spawn point, and the ladder is
Ladders
pointing
are
the wrong
wrong.
way. This one's also pointing the wrong way, etc. So yeah, for now, ooh, there you go. We could start at a castle, which means you could put walls all around,
And this will be the keep?
there will be the keep, yeah, sort of thing. Yeah, I think that would work. So let's go and correct our map here. So we're gonna grab the gray, and then we're gonna, whoops,
That's the brown.
undo, hit Control Z. I'm also on the wrong layer. So let's grab gray, and yeah, let's just do this. And then we're gonna fill that in. So I'm just drawing all around. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make some optional stuff in here, like stuff you can destroy maybe to get money. Whatever we're gonna call them, rupees, doesn't matter. Okay, here, and then here, and this is our exit.
And I'll make a portal.
Well, no, I
Of some
told you
sort.
already, we're not gonna do portals. We're gonna do areas that act as exits. Now, how that's going to work, I don't know yet. This is redundant. Any more redundancies? There's one. Okay. And now the dirt.
Gotta fill those in.
Okay, now Control E. You don't need Shift yet. And but what we do need to do is we need to correct our entities. So you want to delete all these except the
This
teleportation.
point.
Hit undo. I've deleted from the wrong. Hit undo again. There. Spawn point ladder. So we're gonna delete them ladders. I hit end and not delete. Okay, so no more ladders. And legend. That we'll leave alone, but we need to export this. So Control Shift E. This will be entity map. And then we're gonna delete these from entity information. Control Shift E, and this is gonna be entity info. Save. So now we're gonna have a problem because obviously we need multiple worlds, right? Multiple levels, etc. We're gonna have to set up that entire infrastructure. So here we're gonna create a new folder. New layer group, drag it out here, call this one world 0, or 0 is fine too, world 0, yeah, hit enter. Okay, and now this one is going to go in here, entity is going to go in here, and world's going to go in here. So now we got, and these need to be in this order.
Then
and
maybe the background can go at the top like the legend?
No, background is at the bottom, that's why it's called background. Okay, so if you put the background on top, so every now and then you say things that like make me question my sanity. So, do you see anything?
No.
Why? Why?
Because the background is over the rest?
That's right. The layers go in order of logic. So whichever one is on top is the one that's on top. If you have a full black screen on top, that's what's going to happen. Now, what we need to do now is we need to change these, right? So let's create, we're going to create a new folder. Call this one resources. There's no C in resources. Resources. Now in here we're going to create a new one called maps. And entities. Entity info. Yep. So entity map, etc. We're going to move these into resources. Then rename this one to simply 0 and drag this one in here. Rename this one to 0 and put it here, and this one to 0 and put it here. So now each of these is called 0. One thing we're going to have to figure out is how to send the player to the various areas. So we're going to set up all of this now. Let me think. Set up entities. Right, so we're going to have to pick the map first. Right? Here all of the maps are predefined. So if you go to your world, the world is going to have the map's world texture, right?
Yeah.
And then you got entity texture, and then you got entity info texture. All right, all of these textures we're gonna have to pick. So there's gonna have to be some kind of ID of the world we're in. So for now here you want to type private int and call this one world ID. Semicolon. Right, something like that. And what we're going to do is whenever we set up the map, we're also going to have to destroy all of the entities first. Now, I don't remember if these entities are kept. Yes, they're all kept in map tiles. Okay, now this is an array. It's a two-dimensional array. And that's probably fine. Map containers is definitely fine. Yeah, so what we're going to do is... I wonder if we should create a list of that in advance and create the various levels, then hide them and show them. That could be a good way of going about it. I'm not sure. We could recreate them every time on the fly, but I think that may come with disadvantages. So if we, because it's going to be a problem for loading and saving, like for example you've picked up the key, okay, then we need to know that the key is being picked up or something. So there's going to be all of these questions. I don't remember if in Zelda when you go from level to level the vases respawn and the grass respawns, but I think so. I don't remember. Do you remember?
I think they do.
Okay. Because it may make sense at this point to keep track of the entire list of things so that we can then save them, etc. This game is becoming awfully complicated very quickly. I don't know what to do. Well, each of our maps is going to be the same size, so that's not a huge worry. Plus here it's recreating the thing. What we should do is we should destroy all of these. Now let's see, map tiles, instantiate, blah 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 blah, and set up entities. Here it instantiates all of the entities. Then you would need to put every single one of them dormant if you're gonna hide it. And so there's quite a lot of work there. It would be my preferred approach, but I think we're gonna go with the more drastic one of destroying everything and rebuilding everything. Okay. So let's create a void and go clear map. Open, close, round, open, squiggle. Yeah. And here you want clear entities.
Small spaces.
Okay. Open, close, round. Hey Billy. We're taping a show, which I just realized I didn't hit the record button, but that's okay, I'll pick up the VOD. Alright, so clear map, clear entities. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through all of these and destroy them all. So let's grab exactly the same loop, copy it, paste it here, close and close, hit shift tab twice. Cool. Save. Okay, now we need to destroy all of these. These will be easy. The problem will be when we destroy the parent objects of things. Like for example the entities, some of them say the bomb spawner, right? Yeah. I don't remember if the bomb is inside it. But if you're carrying a bomb, we're gonna have to remove it without damaging you, which is gonna make the player weirded out possibly. I'm not sure. That's something also we need to consider is important. We'll worry about that later. So here we're gonna destroy the entire map. So one thing we're gonna do to make absolutely sure we're not wrong, copy this thing. Yeah, and here you're gonna say if open round, paste it, is not null. Now destroy, open round, paste again. Yeah, destroy, paste dot game object. Yeah, there it is. Close round, semicolon. Alright, so now it will destroy everything only if the stuff exists. Copy this entire thing since we're here, paste it here. Now this
So
one
we
is
need
going to be the
entities.
entities. Oh, isn't that interesting? We're not keeping track of our entities, it looks like. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're keeping track of our entities at all. You can see here we're setting up the entity. Well, so is the map tile in any way related to the entity or not? Probably. Let's go take a look at map tiles, and then we're going to take a look at map tiles script. So it's got a child entity. So we need to destroy that first. Or have something in map entity that calls that. So yeah, this is not going to be possible. We need to clear the map with the entities as well. So let's completely remove this method, save. Okay, and now let's go take a look at what was it, map entity. Okay, there, map tile has a map entity. Okay, map tile and map entity. So as far as I can tell here, it doesn't know anything or do anything clever, but here it knows about it when you set up the entity, right? So what we need to do is we need to destroy the child entity first. So let's create a public void here. Wait a moment, we had this activate. Oh, interesting. So this is what we were doing last time. Yeah, well, we can remove all of this. We can also remove the rigid body. We're not interested. So these can both go. And activates goes. Now we may get some crying. Yeah. Alright, that's update map colliders. I remember that. We're gonna remove that. And that may cry a bit too. And we're gonna remove update map collider. There. Okay, so we've cleaned up all of the work we had done last time. And now all we need to do here is you go destroy tile. Tile, open, close round, semicolon. I mean, my bad, yeah, squiggly. Okay, and what you're gonna do here, save. What you're gonna do here is if open round, and we're gonna check if child entity is not null. No, close round, open, save. Now, I am a bit worried about something, which is our bombs, right? When you spawn them and you pick them up, I don't remember if we get to keep them or not, so we may get crashes later, but that's okay. We'll worry about that when the time comes. So destroy tile, okay, child entity is not null. Yeah, so if child entity does exist, destroy child entity. Destruire, open round, child entity dot game object. Close the round, semicolon. Okay, now we've destroyed the game object. Now here you're gonna say destroy game object. That would be ourselves. Close round, semicolon. Copy this and type map tiles XY. XY. Close square bracket, dot paste. open close round, semicolon. Okay, and that should completely clear the entire map. Now we need to call clear map before we set up the map. There will be an issue if this isn't initialized yet. So here you want to type if map tiles is not null. The entire array, that is not null. Means it hasn't been initialized yet. Close round, open a squiggle, hit enter twice, close it, and call clear map here. Open close round, semicolon. So this will clear the map and then create the map. Right? Now we are gonna need to know which map to set up. So here request an int ID. Yeah. And here you wanna say world ID equals ID. Yeah. Equals ID. Semicolon. Now one thing we need to do is we need to get rid of that texture. So we're gonna remove this texture, this texture, this texture. Save. Now it's going to cry. All of these textures were not necessary, so we can create them here on the fly. But you're going to need to do it here. So let's undo all those three. Wait, I've undone too much. Okay, now cut this.
Wait, there's another error.
Oh, sure, that's fine. Plus, this is wrong. We're gonna have to worry about that later. Setup entities is correct, but not here. Cut setup entities. Paste it here. Save. So we set up the entities after we set up the map, which is exactly what we had, right? So there we go. This one bothers me a little bit. Cut it. Put it in awake.
And press copy.
And undo. Again. Cut. Okay, so this start can go. Save. Alright, so here we set up the ID, etc. But we're gonna have to tell which texture we want. So we're gonna remove this from here. This from here, but cut it since you're here. Put it here. Cut this and cut this and put it here. Copy this entire header. Hit enter, paste, and go textures. Save. And here what we're gonna do is we are going to actually, is there anything we need to do? I don't think so. But we need to load, save. We need to load which texture we want here on the fly. So copy world texture, clear map, okay. Paste it here, cut this, paste it here. All right, shift tab.
Wait.
So equals, resources, no, yeah, resources. There. Dot load. Open of type. Texture 2D. Close of type. Open round. Quote. So now we need to tell it the path. Now the path is inside resources. It needs to go to maps and then the number.
0.
So maps slash close quote plus world ID. Okay, world ID dot to string. Open close round. Close round. No. Open close round for to string, then close round again, then semicolon. Okay, so that's loaded the world. Copy this. Paste.
Oops.
And again.
Now it
Copy
needs to
entity.
go for entity.
Copy entity info. Save. So entity is going to be, instead of maps, it's going to be entities.
Will we?
Copy. Paste. Paste. Y info. Why info? Save. Okay, so now we've loaded all three and we're gonna be happy. So the question is which map we're gonna set up, right? So let's begin by getting our for some reason players changed. Okay, save it. Save the player game manager. So we're gonna get the game manager to begin setting everything up. So player instantiate, etc. Spawn chords. Okay, so that's important. It's because of our save file. We're going to spawn chords. I think we'll worry about that momentarily right after this, because load profile is doing that, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have to know which world we're in the profile. So save profile, we need to know which world, which means the player attributes needs to know which world it is in. World would be our level, right? So character attributes. No, I don't see this as a character attribute. So it's just a piece of information inside there. See spawn X and spawn. No, they are in here. They are in the player attributes. There, spawn chords. All right. So here create a public int, and this is going to be world ID. Semicolon. I'm noticing we also only have max HP. We're gonna need current HP as well, but okay. So here you're gonna say player prefs. Dot setInt, open round, quote, world ID. Let's add the word player in front. Close quote, comma, player attributes dot world ID. Close round, semicolon. Okay, so that's one. And in load profile, we need to do a similar check to this one. So copy this entire thing, paste it here, and here you go with copy this, and paste it right here, paste it right here. This is obviously wrong. World ID. It's already there. Okay, save. Now load default profile. We need to look at that too. And player attributes are player default attributes. So player default attributes is actually defined here. So we're gonna have to do it.
Okay.
We need to wait a bit. Player default attributes world ID is 0. That's fine. Now let's also do another thing. I know we have a debug load defaults. Hit Control F for this one, and let's go to the next point it's used. Right here, load profile, load default profile. Oh, interesting. So, what are the default spawn? That's our problem. We're spawning in the wrong place. So we need the correct spawn coordinates for the starting point. I simply don't know what they are. So anyway, now one thing we need to do before we spawn the player here in start, right here you need to spawn the correct world ID. So right here you want to say map dot setup world or whatever. Script first, script, my bad. Dot setup world. Okay, so setup world is not accessible. Yeah, public. Okay, copy it, paste it here, open, close around. No, you need to feed it an ID, which is found in player attributes world ID. Yep, there it is, close round, semicolon. Alright, so now we're loading the map first, and then we're doing the thing. It's still in start, which is not brilliant, but that's okay. Save. Now, one thing we're gonna need here is we need something to destroy the player. Probably, unless we want to keep the player and simply teleport into the right place. So create, rename the start to say go to level, but if we do that, we're gonna need to know where entrances and exits are and all sorts of information. Dang it, that's not obvious. That's not obvious at all.
Okay.
I just realized another thing. You know how we're now sectioning the map, right? We're sectioning it in bits. That's fine. I like that bit. What I don't like is the fact that we are making multiple textures. That's going to be a massive pain. What we could do, though, is create a large texture and then grab a number of pixels from the texture.
Okay.
So suppose, for example, you had the world this big, right? And you just had these separate cells on it. That could be a much better idea, I would think.
Okay.
But it would make our calculations a bit more complicated. Let's finish this for now, and then we'll figure it out. But that would really, really simplify us knowing which world to go. Because you could put an exit, and each exit could simply have north, south, east, west, right? So as soon as you go to north, south, east, west, or whatever, you transition, right? And your character will instantly know, okay, I'm in the north, so I need to spawn in the south of the next area. That would be very helpful. So, yeah, I'm almost certain we need to make that refactoring, that change of the map. Yeah, let's do that now. I don't care that it's, it's not great, but we're gonna do that now. So we're gonna again modify all of this. Let's pull these out as we had them before. Let's delete this folder. That's what happens when you improvise. Things can go wrong. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go again to image, canvas size, and we're gonna tell it, actually, you're going to be a 512 by 512.
By the way, I just realized that there's no way to enter this place because of the walls we put around it.
What do you mean?
We can't. Because of these walls we put there, we can't actually go in it unless we spawn in it. But we will, so.
What are you talking about? There's no wall up here. What?
But that will be the place to go to the next.
That's the exit.
level.
Yeah, that's the exit to this area. Yeah, we're gonna have areas, right? So that's fine. This is gonna be fine. Hit Windows and then hit Calc for me. Calc. So now I'm gonna ask you a few mathematics questions. I've just created a field that's 512 by 512. How do I know that this cell is going to fit both horizontally and vertically? A number of these cells, whatever number we go with. One is easy. Do you remember the scale of the cell? What's the size of the cell?
49 by 32.
48 by 32. So how do I find out if it's going to fit evenly within the allocated space?
Well, do you check if it is a multiple of 512?
Vice versa. You check if 32, for example, is a multiple of 512. Well, if 512 is a multiple of 32. Yes. Yes,
Okay.
that's the correct answer. So how do we do that? Think of it in human terms, right? So how many times does this fit here? How would you do that?
A division.
And what's the nominator of the division? Numerator, nominator? The top bit of the division.
That's the numerator.
Yeah. What do you need to divide by what in order to know how many times something fits? Take a simpler example. Think of a simpler example. Think of, like, I don't know, 4 kids and 8 candy or something. What is it that you're dividing?
You're dividing the candy, not the kids.
Right, so the
So-
candy is what goes on top. What's our candy?
512.
Right. Divided by what?
Divided by 48.
We have a problem.
Yeah. That's not gonna fit.
What about this?
32. That one fits.
That fits easy. Right? So we've got an issue with our non-power of 2, in fact, ending up not there. So I think if you do 48 plus 48 plus 48, that's...
Power of 2?
No. Plus 48 plus 48. Eventually there should be 1, unless I'm wrong. Well, clearly I seem to be wrong. Yeah, I'm not finding a single power of 8 of 2. Is 480 a power of 2? That was a stupid move. I don't know. No, but it isn't. Yes, I know. What a fool. Okay. Yeah, I just summed it to itself. At any rate, so 48 is not a good number for us. What number could we use that 512 would be divisible by? Right, so let's try... Well, first of all, let's do this divided by 32. What do we get? We get 16, so we're going to get 16 vertical tiles. I'd like to get 9 horizontal tiles. I don't think it's possible, but let's try. Divided by 9, no, that's not multiple of 9, so that's a waste of time. Something close to it. How about 8? So we could do a 64 by 32 cell, and that would be a safe bet. So let's go with that. So first of all, let's fix everything. So grab the C and go splat. Right? Because that's what we want. Now our dirt, grass, and walls. Cut this. Paste it. We're gonna move it here in the middle. So we're gonna spawn, or somewhere, you know, middle-ish. We're gonna spawn. Oh wait, we need to be. What's important? We need to create a grid now. So configure grid.
We need to know where we're putting this.
That's right. So we're gonna make it red. Nah, red is not gonna be that visible. Let's go with yellow.
Because of the C.
So on the first of all, they're not linked. The X is gonna be 64, but the Y is going to be 32. Hit OK. View. Show grid. We're not gonna do snap. It's gonna be a pain if we snap things. So cut this again. Paste it. And let's move it to here. Now let me zoom in a bit so we can see. There we go. So we got our little island.
Now we need to move everything else.
That's right. Cut. Paste. Cut. Paste. Yeah, so this is not ideal. I'd like to have it as a straight wall that goes out or something. Yeah, because this way you can fall out into the sea, and that's not brilliant, at least not for the first level. Let's quickly make a fix there. So grab the walls and, you know, simplify. Just a straight line out, whatever. Maybe a bit claustrophobic though. So copy this, or cut this rather.
Does claustrophobic
Paste.
mean?
Makes you feel enclosed. So we're gonna give you two sort of little tiles to go. Okay, now save, Control S. Now there's another thing that we need to move, which is our entities. Let's just leave the map on for now. So spawn point, cut, paste. That's it. And then entity information, we don't need anything. I can't remember actually if we do. Okay, anyway, so this is done. So hit Control S to save, and then we're gonna go Control Shift E, and let's go to map. Now we created the resources. We're gonna give that up and type map. Hit enter. Okay. Now gonna expose these. So something's wrong with our BG. No surprise really. There, that should fix it.
There's a tiny little spawn point.
Control Shift E, and this one goes entities. Yeah, hit enter, export, and then we've got this fella. Control Shift E, entity info with a Y, info. Yeah, hit enter, export, save. All right, this is gonna help us massively. So first of all, we need to change, well, first of all, nothing. We need to change a bunch of things. So let's go back to the map, and these textures need to go back to being serialized. So copy this, paste, 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 save. All right, now what we need, instead of a world ID, we need a vector to int. And this is gonna be world quadrant with a Q, quadrant. That means a square section. I suppose ours isn't a square, it's a rectangle, but it'll do.
Okay.
All right, so let's go back to setup map. World ID can go, save. Both of these can, all three of these can go, and we've already fixed everything. So save this. Now we fixed everything, sorta. The problem is gonna be this now. Get pixels from the world texture. So it's correct that we get the pixels, but which ones do we analyze is a very specific number, and we're gonna have to do some math here. It's not gonna work without.
Okay.
Right? Let's go back to sort of recap about how this works. So if we show the world, right? You start from the bottom left at 0, 0. Okay? So whichever loop you do, you go through all of them. Now obviously we don't want to render or create any parts of this world. We want to create this part only, right? So our world quadrant that we want is x1 and y 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so that's what we want. So that quadrant is going to inform us as to which pixels we want, right? Now, remember this is a 64 long, right? On the X. This means that this pixel is what X?
That pixel.
What X is this pixel going to be? Well, this one.
That X is going to be 1.
No. This is 1. What X is this?
65.
Correct. 64. Well, no, actually, wrong. It's going to be 64. Because this goes between 0 and 63. Right? So 64. And what Y is this going to be? This is not obvious, right? Well, I mean, it's a lot less easy to sort of immediately notice, but there's 13 quadrants, right? So 13 times 32.
Yeah.
That's basically the trick, right? So we need to do some mathematics here. All right, so in order to get that, what we need to do is map tiles. This information is going to be different, and that's fairly important for us to know. What else is there that's going to be different? So these heights and widths, we should probably have a vector 2. So create another vector 2 here, private vector 2 int. And call it world dimensions, or word chords, there you go, coordinates, chords, semicolon. So for the chords, what we would need is the starting points and the lengths, which means a vector 2 int is insufficient. We either do a vector 4 int, or we make an array of vector 2 ints.
Okay.
And I think an array is better, so save in this particular case. Here, since you're here, just immediately create a new vector 2 int array of 2. That's it. So it's already initialized right away. Okay. Now you can copy this. Now the first 2 will be the starting points, and the second 2 will be the lengths. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm an absolute idiot. The lengths are constants. We know how large they are every time. Right? This means we're gonna do this, save, world chords, and here you do a serialized field vector2, int again, sorry, private vector2 int. Remember the word private. It's not necessary, but vector2 int. One down tab, and call this one quadrant. Yeah, quadrant size. Go equals new vector2 int. Open round, and feed it manually yourself. 64, comma. What's the second one?
32.
Yeah. 32. Close the round. Semicolon. Okay. Save. Player activation radius, by the way, is obsolete, so let's remove it. Save. Okay. Quadrant size. Perfect. Now we got a quadrant size that's a constant and it's always there, and the world coordinates. Okay. So these need to be calculated. So copy this. And you can leave this here. Map tiles here, paste it, save. So these width and height, you can always use the quadrant size. So copy the quadrant size, paste it here, .x, paste it here.
.y.
Oh, careful, I selected one too many. There, paste, .y. Okay. So now copy this, hit Control F. Let's go to current document, paste, replace all. So now we got this quadrant size everywhere. Now the world texture though, .height, copy this, paste it here, and put a Y and replace all, save. Okay, so we're going through the quadrants just like that, and that should be quite nice. Alright.
We've got 2 errors.
Yeah, I know. There's still plenty of stuff to do here. Cannot use local variable map tiles before it is declared. Declaration. Map tiles is not local, my dear. It's here. I mean, yes, it's local, but I think this error is bonkers. So we'll find out what the problem is there. Plus, cut this. And move it here. Save. Okay. Not sure why he was complaining, but whatever. Unless map tiles is incorrect and it's got numerous ones. No, I don't think so. Whatever. So world chords equals, and now we need the math, right? So we have received an int ID. That's wrong. We need a vector2 int. Copy, paste, and q. What do we call it? WQ. So just type WQ. Just lowercase q. It's fine. Save. And here you want to say world quadrant equals WQ. WQ. Semicolon. Semicolon first. Okay, so we got the world quadrant. So the x is the world quadrant times the size of the x of our constant, which is how much?
Size of our constant is 64.
That's right. So world chords is that.
Mm-hmm.
Copy this, paste it, .x, times, and now you want quadrant size, copy this, .x, semicolon. Well, this is a vector2, so new vector2 int. It's already there. Open round. Save. Comma. Comma. Space. Copy all of this.
Now you
Paste
do the
it.
Y.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the same, but for Y. Save. Okay, so we got the world coordinates now. Save. So it goes between quadrant size, and that's all fine and dandy, right? The issue is index. Okay, let's carefully examine this because it's y times quadrant size x plus x. See, that's wrong. This one is going to be the map itself. So here you want to type world map.x, world map.width or whatever. Yeah, well, okay, we'll texture copy this one, paste it here, and here you want to type DTH. Save. So we are multiplying y by the world texture plus x. Okay, this is correct because we are going to need this index. The problem is y and x are incorrect. We need to add the world coordinates to them. So you want to copy world coords, paste it here, dot y, space plus, space. Now this needs to be in brackets. And this one, save. Alright, so this multiplied by this and then plus x. This x is insufficient, it needs this. So copy, paste.
Does that replace it with an x?
Yes, save. So suppose, for example, the world coordinates, actually don't suppose anything. The world coordinates we need to draw here are 64 and then
times 32.
416. Okay, so these would be our values. Yeah, this is fascinating, my dude. What? Okay. Okay, so world coordinates, we said it's going to be world quadrant, which in our case would be 1 and then 13. So it would be 1 times 64, and 13 times 32, whatever the number was, 416, was it? 400, let's go with that. It doesn't matter, right? So we're just going to do a quick simulation with that. So we go between 0 and 64, and then between 0 and 32, okay? And then here we're going to say, it's going to be world coordinates y, which is 416, plus 0, because that's where we start, so 416,
Yeah.
times the world texture width, the entire... Is that right? Heck, I don't know. So we had... Y was 416. So you need 416 times the entire rows. Yes, that's correct. I think. And then the coordinates of the x. I suspect this will be fine. I hope it will be fine. Okay, now let's see what else we've got here. Contains, color index. Right, the colors is the entire ones. The index is correct. So if the list of map colors contains that, okay, we're good. Color index, blah, blah, blah. Instantiate map type. Okay, x and y. Now the question is where? Float x, float y. I'm happy. So the map is always going to be exactly in the same spot. It doesn't matter which map it is. Okay, and then it gives you the color, sets it all up. Everything should be fine. Okay, set up entities. We need to go look at that too because they have exactly the same system. So all of the variables have already been set up. The colors are being defined here. I don't think this is particularly clever, frankly. The fact that we are defining the colors sort of every time we change map. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it is a large texture we're analyzing every time. We could just do it first, really. And then it's done here as well. It's fine. No, not a huge deal. So here, entity texture width, that's wrong. We want quadrant size x. So copy it. Right here. Paste it again, but put a y. Save. And this one is correct, but it's the wrong formula. So, well, I mean, technically, it's exactly the same. So copy this entire thing. We're still going to go with the other texture, but it doesn't make a difference. Paste it. Copy this. Paste it here. And now delete this and save. We can also delete this. Save. Okay. color index, color index. I think all of this will be correct. It'll place all of the things. So this is the last one. Again, we need to copy the index. So copy this index, paste it here, and copy this, paste it here, delete this, save, and this should all be correct.
And now we need to fix that error.
Where there's still this that needs to be changed. So copy this, paste it here, and here.
But put a Y.
And put a Y. Okay, into texture, get pixels, etc. Cannot convert. Yeah, I know exactly what that error is. No problem. All right, so now we have quadrants and everything. Now we're gonna have to define a quadrant in our saved data as well. This it doesn't like. So instead of world ID, copy this, paste it here, and call this one spawn quadrant. Lowercase s, potato. Spawn quadrant. Semicolon. Save. Save this. Copy this. Okay, and now let's go to save profile and paste it here. And oh wait, we can't. We need an x and a y. So put player quadrant x. Quadrant x. No dots, just literally the letter X, capital. Okay, dot X. Copy the entire thing, paste it here.
Now
Y. Y. Save. And now for load, this one doesn't exist anymore, so copy this, paste it here, and copy this, paste it here, dot X. Copy this, paste it here.
I press paste.
Oh, undo. Copy, paste. Copy all of this, paste it here, put a Y, put a Y, put a Y. Save. Alright. Now, the default profile needs to have a certain quadrant and certain coordinates, right? So, let's go take a look. The coordinates, we have already exported these maps, I believe. The coordinates for the entity here are, we're gonna start from here to here, or to here, I should say. So the rectangle is 29 times 9. So that means calc, it's gonna be 64 plus 29, so that makes 93. Okay, let's stay in the game manager real quick. So 93. Oh, not really. No, we're gonna go with local coordinates because we're saving the world. So, oh wait, we got an error. Ah, right. Copy this spawn quadrant and paste it here. Save. All right. Now the error is gonna go, and now we'll finally be able to interact with this. Okay, so it's quadrant 1, 13. That's what we said, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the coordinates are
29 and 9.
29 and 9 in theory. We may get it wrong by a bit, but whatever. 29 and 9. Save. Player none. None. I guess it'll be created. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, in our world, we need to go and give it the world texture and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And the texture, so we're going to delete the resources here completely. So those will disappear. You see they're now missing. Yep. And these are wrong. Because, first of all, no compression. Second of all, no filtering. Apply. And it's a power of 2, so there's no worry. None, apply. Point no filter, apply. It's a completely black texture. None, apply. Okay, so now all of the textures are correct. It's just a matter of assigning them. So map, entities, entity info, save. All right, let's see if this has worked.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Texture map is not. We are potatoes. We forgot to make them mark them as read write enabled, and don't generate maps. Apply. Okay, that should help.
What are maps?
Okay, so it's put a C. I'm not sure. You can look it up yourself later. So null reference map tiles XY. Null reference. Map tiles doesn't exist? Oh. If map tiles is not null, then clear map. Yeah, your dad is a buffoon. Copy all of this. Cut, rather. And paste it here. Save. Let's carry on. The reason why that was happening is we were never getting there. So there you go. So that's
spawned in the spawn point.
So that's pretty good. We have spawned in the right place. The castle is here. It's all working. And here we have nothing, right? And right now we'll fall, right? Because we haven't set up an exit, and that's okay. But with the next time we can set up an exit. But you see what's cool is we've loaded a map that loads quickly and it's small. It's our small quadrant map that we set up before. So okay, I quite like that sort of we can see the edge of the map. For the edge of the map, we should probably create some kind of particle system or some shader or something that indicates that's the edge of this particular map and you can't exit there. I don't really know how Zelda does it. But I suspect, well, the old Zeldas didn't have a moving camera.
I don't remember in Wind Waker because I never tried to exit.
In Wind Waker, the map wraps around. It's a much more complicated game, so we're not going to even attempt to do something like that. But what we could do is we could force the camera to not go below or above a certain point. And I think we should do that, and I think it'll look pretty cool. So we almost ran out, well, we have run out of time, but I'm not happy with how far we got, so let's at least do that with the camera. Okay, now, I think that we were really, really cheap with the camera, and we literally made the camera a child of the player. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, we did that.
No, the camera has a camera manager. This means it's being updated that way. That's really easy to do then. All we need is we need a minimum and a maximum, and a left and a right minimum and maximum. So here, go serialized field, vector 2, and private. I keep forgetting to tell you it's private. I just assume it. Private, yeah, vector 2, and call this one camera limits. Semicolon. Don't give it a value for now. Give it a value for now. Equals new. Vector 2. Just hit space and tab. Open round. And let's say we're gonna do it 10f, 5f. Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, Heaven.
That's okay. Now, if the players don't know, yeah. So here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say transform dot position. Equals new vector 3 open round, and here you're going to say we're going to do the x, the y, and the z. But I'm just thinking this seems to be clunky, like sort of repetitive, so we're not really going to do it that way. So let's copy this. And here type mathf.clamp, open around, paste this .x, comma, and now you want to say, actually let's also hit enter here so it's going to be easier to read. So we're going to clamp the position of the player, and by the negative of this camera limits on the x, so copy camera limits, minus, paste, .x,
press copy.
Copy, minus, paste, .x, comma, paste, .x. So negative and positive, .x. Close round, comma, enter. Now, on the y, it's vector 2 up dot distance. Well, that's kind of silly, just distance. Copy this, paste it here, comma, hit enter. Copy the entire x, paste it.
And
now
replace all with z.
Z, Z, Z. Rob will be proud of you. You called the Z a Z. Oh, no, this is going to be a Y, actually, because it's a vector 2. Our camera limit is a vector 2, but the world we're playing in is a 3D world. So close around again and semicolon. So let's examine this particular save statement. So here, the position of the camera is going to go where? To a new vector 3, which is going to be composed of the following X, Y, and Z elements. X is going to be the position of the player, so we'll just place it boink right on top of the player, right?
Yep.
As we're doing right now. But we're going to force it to stand still if it reaches the edge on the X, on the negative X, or on the positive X. And for the Y, it's going to be just at our default distance of 20. And for the Z, is going to be exactly the same as the X, and it's going to stop going too far north or too far south.
Okay.
So let's see how this looks like, because it's already going to work, right? The question is just how does it look like? So, okay, so we got a problem because our values are stupid. Okay, so did we put negative and positive?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a bit weirded out by where it's putting it, but okay. So let's put this to say 25. I don't know. Okay, that's much better. It's still not wanting to move. So how wide is our world? Our world is 64 in theory, right? And 32. So let's try that. Okay, so now we're up. Now you'll see the issue is we don't want to see all the way down here, right?
Yeah, we can see out.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave that and we're now going to gently decrease this number. I bet you 16 is going to be... I bet you I'm wrong. Hello? What? Why did it go negative? What? Okay, that's odd. Have we written the math wrong? I don't understand this at all. Yeah, it's going nuts. Oh. No, wait a moment. The position of the player, positive or negative, that should all work. What the fridge? This is weird. I'm a little confused. So the player's position is x29 here, okay? So it starts at 29. Oh, because 0 is here. That's the problem. So we've got a offset that we need to account for. What we're going to do is we're going to make this quadrant side public. So just type public here. Yeah, save. So we can go and access it. We're gonna add half of it. Okay. So in the camera manager, here you're going to say right here, map.script dot quadrant size or whatever it's called dot x divided by 2 f plus. So this isn't a float. Remember we had some problems with float assumptions, so exactly. Cast it as a float and we're happy. Close the cast, save. Copy all of this. Try again. Paste it here. And this is y. Save. Okay, this should help substantially. So now, because our world starts at 0, 0, so we already have a certain positive value.
Yeah.
Okay, so
nothing changed.
something probably changed. You just can't tell what it is. So player, let's see here. So the player has a position of 29, etc. So let's go back to the main camera and increase this. So my bet is going to be 32. And my bet for this one will be 16. No, 16 is too much. So you see the camera is refusing to move vertically. So let's decrease this. Oh, it's even worse. Let's increase it. Okay, we want it to stop here. 20. 20 is too much. Yeah, the camera is refusing to show us the end of the world. Because it's 3D. That makes sense. But for some reason, 19.5. This weirds me out a little bit. But now you'll see it should... Huh. Okay, I officially feel like an absolute moron right now. For some reason, I can't figure out the math behind this, which is absolutely obvious, and I should be ashamed of myself. Okay, so quadrant size y. Okay, so 16, right? 16 plus the position of the player. Now, wait a moment. Wait a moment. Okay, I know what's going on. The position of the player already accounts for this offset, so cut this. Well, you're not understanding anything here. Minus and paste. Save. Okay, now cut this. Wait. Space minus, space, paste. Right. So, you probably don't understand any of this. And that's very sad. But basically, you want to find the center of the map. Where is the center of the map? If the map starts at 0, 0.
Center of the map would be...
Very difficult. How large is the map?
64 by
awesome.
32.
Where's the middle? Oh, did you just say 64 divided by 2? Is that what you said?
No.
You said 64 by 32, right? That's what you said.
That's
okay.
what I said.
Where is the middle of 64? Ooh.
32.
Well done. So, I'm removing 32 from the position of the player, which will give me, assuming the player is exactly in the middle, what? If the player is exactly in the middle of the map and the middle of the map is 32, if the player is 32 and I remove 32, what do I get?
You get 0.
Well done. Okay, now if I am to the left of the map, say at 0, and I remove 32, what do I get?
Minus 32.
That's right. And if I'm on the right of the map, which means I'm at the end, so 64, you remove 32, what do you get?
You get 32.
That's right. So you go between negative 32 and positive 32, which is what this camera limit is supposed to do. Have a negative and a positive. The reason why it's not working is because we keep on feeding it the wrong number. Now this one should be correct now, ish, maybe, I don't know. So now it's still going to look wrong, wrongo bongo. Let's see how wrong it's going to look like. Okay. just what? Oh man. Oh gosh. I'm a moron. Cut this. Paste it here. And here. Cut this. Paste it here. And here. Save. And let's see if I can get there eventually. Believe me, I'm more frustrated than you are. How many times did I click the play button? About 78. Okay. Still wrong. So 64. And now let's type 32 here. Okay, so we're now staring at our player. And he's stopping from going all the way up. He's not stopping from going all the way down at all. I want to shoot myself. Yeah, he's stopping from going right. More or less correctly, but not left. Left, he's perfectly happy to be absolutely wrong. Up and down are correct and negatives are wrong. Okay. Okay, wait. I'm sick and tired of my stupidity. I'm gonna type now. Oh, we pasted these one after the other, I think. Didn't we? No. No, we didn't. Okay. So, the position is going to be position of the player, and then he needs to be clamped. Now the clamp can't work. Okay. So the position of the player, suppose you're starting right in the middle, it will be 32 by 16. So 32 and y would be z would be 16. I want the camera to be centered on top of you and check that it's not 0, but it's also not 64. So 0 would be the minimum, for example, or whatever number. So it would be this, not this position. I need the center of the world, which would be that thing that we had done. So it would be map.script.quadrantSize.x divided by 2f. So I want the center of the world minus the camera limit, and the center of the world plus the camera limit, I think. And then the center of the world minus, so this one will be y, and the center of the world plus, and this would be the y. Is this correct? Please make it correct. So the first thing, we should have the camera centered, boom, bang on the player correctly. Okay, so that's something. So you'll see he goes up, and now the camera stops. He goes all the way to the left, and the camera stopped. He goes all the way down, and the camera stops. Goes all the way up, and the camera resumes movement. Okay, I finally got the formula correctly. So you'll see here, there's a bit more room than we want. So let's reduce this y a tiny little bit, like this.
3.5.
3.5. This doesn't look right to me. Let's try 3.4. We need to be careful because we're still gonna have to poop. Okay, 3.4. I'm not sure why it would be 3.4, frankly, but okay. Whatever you say, Mr. So let's go a bit further. Okay, here is where we should exit. Now let's see how this looks like. So you see, we've kind of hit the exit, but maybe not. So here we're completely outside the map, but we've definitely hit the exit. So I don't really mind. I think the way it is now is kind of correct. So then if we return back, you see now the camera is back to following you correctly. Here it doesn't. I don't know how much of the map we see or we don't. So let's, oh, look, almost perfect. I think it may be exactly right somehow, even though 10 was a completely arbitrary number I inserted. We would need a map that allows us to see the sides. Oh, an interesting thing that's going on here.
The walls are flying.
The walls are flying, right? And that's not brilliant.
We had to put dirt under here.
I would think that that would be the solution. So let's quickly fix that and see if that works. Anyway, so that has fixed the thing. I'm not sure why 3.4 though, but I'm sure there's a mathematical reason. So let's remove the walls. Well, actually, let's take the walls, select the entire color, copy it, hide it, go to dirt. Actually, we didn't even need to copy. So to dirt, we need to grab this or this color and simply fill this in. And now put back the walls. Control Shift D. Wait a moment. Control Shift D. Map. Okay, so this I think has worked, and next time we're gonna make the exits. So do the walls? No, they still are programmed, I think, simply to never have anything underneath them, which may look weird at certain angles. It's something we need to worry about next time, for sure. Well, I mean, not really. It's not a huge deal.
We're doing a top-down game anyway.
Exactly. I mean, one thing we could do is we could make a model that goes further down. That would really solve it. Okay. Well, that will conclude our episode for today. It was a little bit longer than usual, but here's what we've done. We have recreated smaller maps that are going to be divided in levels, and here we'll be exiting. We've programmed the map so it does what it needs to do in this particular scenario, yeah, our little character is correctly walking and correctly spawning in the right place. And that's that, really. And next time we're actually going to make the next level, so we're going to be able to go to the next place. And this is how this looks like from our huge, far away perspective. And yeah, next we're gonna have to make that sort of tutorial level where you get the glove.
Yeah.
Eventually, right? So, but yeah, first step is gonna be programming the exits. And the exits are gonna have 4 pieces of information: north, east, west, or south. Again, we're gonna use the red channel for that in entity info. Yeah, we'll take it from there. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.